Well, heat index is 103 outside, so I am in the AC in the Ramdino studios here. Decided I did not care to be out in that mess. The only crazy enough people to be in that mess I know is hikers out there on the trail. So, and I'm sure they'd rather be somewhere else. But in any case, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on this week. So this has been a tough week for me. A lot of you have been praying for my buddy Darrin, who had a glioblastoma, and he lost his fight with that brain cancer this past week. So that's been tough. As many of you know, he was my best friend. And by the way, if you're not part of my community, my personal community, and you want to skip ahead, you can do that through a link down below where I've created chapters for this video. But if you are part of my community and you do want to hear about a little bit about what I got to say about Darrin. So many of you know he was my best friend growing up in high school. Always, loved him like a brother. Always claimed that he was the best friend anybody could ever have. And we got through high school together and a little bit of college. I was at a different college and then I joined the military. So we lost touch during that period. And then he married his college sweetheart, moved to Norway, obviously lost touch. So we would kind of keep, when social media came into its own, we would, and particularly Facebook, we could message each other. We got back in touch a little bit, but didn't hang out or see each other because we were separated by hemispheres. And then he moved back to the U.S. And never really reconnected as much then as well. I had a family, and life just goes on, and you never think how short life is, but it is short. So I'll talk a little bit more about Darrin here in just a minute and my philosophy about that. But thanks for all you folks out there that prayed for us. Thanks a lot for all you folks that don't pray, that send in your good vibes and your well wishes. Thank you very much for that. Those have sustained me, and I felt them, and I very much appreciate that. It's what a wonderful community I'm a part of that would do that for each other like that. So let's go ahead, and we'll talk more about Darrin here in just a little bit, but let's go ahead and talk about what's going on with Thru Hiker. So Sweet Potato, she's out there. She's somewhere north of Port Clinton. She says that the weather has moderated some, although it is still very dry out there, and some of the water sources are a good ways off the trail, and those are always kind of inconvenient, obviously, because you're doing miles that don't count. And also, a lot of times they're so far away, by the time you get back to the trail, you've already drinking a third of what you just filtered. So those can kind of be a pain. So you really have to look ahead. She said that the comments on Far Out are spot on. So that's why it's important. Far Out is a social media app to some degree. Well, it's a navigation app that also you can leave comments there at each source, water source and shelters and stuff like that, views, what have you. And it's important that you do that if you're out there on trail, so others coming behind you can know what to expect and can determine, how much water they need to take, how they need to ration it, so on, so forth. So please make those comments on Far Out. Sweet Potato leaves this video with us.
A quick update. I stayed at the Lookout Hostel last night. Fabulous, loved it there. I'm on my way to Delaware Water Gap. The trail provides, and I do have a Labor Day weekend hard stop because I have another event happening in September where I'll be traveling abroad. That being said, I have two options. I can either pick up the pace and make this about miles, or I can give myself some time by skipping ahead, maybe even to Vermont, or even doing a flip-flop. The trail provided a ride. I need to make a decision in 2 days, and I just don't know what to do. So, yeah, stay tuned.
So that's a tough decision to make. You're planning to be Nobo Pure, and now you're going to become possibly a flip-flopper. My vote is for her to flip. It doesn't matter to me whether you do Nobo, Sobo, flip-flop, whatever. You've done the trail. Or even whether you're a through or section hiker, you've done the trail. So just getting out there is awesome. But in her case, she wants to do a through hike, and so of course, legitimately flip-flopping is a way you can do that. And if she tries to make big miles, she's liable to get hurt. She's definitely going to miss out on some stuff that otherwise she had intended to do. So I would say, and then doing big miles in this heat where she's at, because it's going to get hotter. The summer ain't done. I would say go for a flip-flop. So what do you folks say? Leave a comment down below. Love to hear what you got to say. I know she's looking for guidance too. She's probably already made up her mind, but I would vote for a flip-flop. 111, he has left Roxylvania. He sends in this update.
Good morning, Ramdino and family. It's 111. Hope everybody's doing well. I have just left Delaware Water Gap and entered into New Jersey. Woo-hoo-hoo. Sorry for the loud noise. These are the trail conditions this morning, walking along the highway to get to the trail. It's beautiful, it's cool. Grab some extra water, everybody. Have a good day. Hope everybody's doing well. Talk to you soon. Bye.
111, I hate to tell you this, but the rocks don't end there at the Pennsylvania-New Jersey line. They're going to keep on going for some time. Matter of fact, it's the Appalachian Trail. You're going to deal with them the rest of the way, just like you have before you ever got there. Chase reports in that it's much cooler, says it's around 60 degrees in the mornings when they hit the trails. So that means he's probably getting, 50s for sleeping. That's a whole lot better weather than 80s for sleeping. They should be in Massachusetts today. And he also includes this video.
Hey, Ramdino. Hey, thanks again for all you do. This is Chase with Buzz and Vanish, and just got off the trail. We just did a 14.2 mile day here in Connecticut. We should be leaving Connecticut very soon. The weather has definitely improved. We had some really hot days, as you know, under the heat dome, and then a little bit of rain. The rain caused the rocks to get wet, and that ended up causing this to happen. Okay, that did not end well. So that was not good, but we survived, and yeah, we lived to hike another day.
Well, I'm glad to see he did not get hurt. That is one thing that's going to happen on the trail is you're going to slip and fall. That's just part of it. You're probably going to get injuries. Here's something else you may acquire while you're out there on the trail. Did you know that tens of thousands of male hikers right now are suffering with ED in the backcountry? And even female hikers can suffer with ED as well. That's right, electrolyte dysfunction. Well, the folks over at LMNT Drink Mix, they can fix that for you. They've got a drink mix for your water bottle. It's got 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. No sugar, no caffeine, none of the junk that you don't need in your body. Just the good stuff that you need out there. And for a limited time only right now, you can go to drinkelement.com/Ramdino, and they will send you with any order a free sample pack. That's whether you get the powdered drink mix or their new sparkling variety that they've got out there. So go to drinkelement.com/Ramdino. That's DRINKLMNT.com/Ramdino. Go and get you some of that so you can get it up that next hill. Go and get you some. Yep, get you some of that LMNT drink mix, whether it's the sparkling variety that you can have at home or the powder to take on trail to get you up that next hill. All right, what else is going on out there? Well, Jeff and Micah, they say everything is good. They're about 30 miles north of Bland, Virginia. Say the weather's hot, so they are further south, and it is going to be hotter down here. And they say the water sources are dry. They're debating on when to flip, so they are contemplating a flip. They did, however, want to get all the way through Virginia through they flipped. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that or not. Now, one of the contemplations he has is whether or not he wants to deal with the heat or deal with the bugs up north if he flips. So I'm not sure if the black fly season is over up north. You folks that are up north or anybody else that lives up there, leave a comment down below. Let us know if the black fly season is over with up there. I know when I went through Massachusetts, it wasn't so much. Last year I did the whole state. Wasn't so much black flies as it was mosquitoes were bad, particularly around Great Barrington. There's a swampy area there, trail south of the highway where you cross over Great Barrington, and that's the only place I really wear my head net there. And there was a boardwalk for about a mile, then about a couple miles through the woods where it's real swampy, and man, they just ate me up through there. Caboose, Phoenix, and Season 1, they have met an amazing couple that's been helping them out with trail magic and been helping them do some slack packing up there. So they have about 111 miles left to go in Pennsylvania, and that is one state that I would greatly enjoy slack packing through, and as a matter of fact, I may be doing just that here coming up in August. But back to Caboose, Phoenix in Season 1. So they say that they also almost got hit by a limb that came out of a tree during a storm that they were trying to outrun. And luckily, when the storm did come through, that they were inside somebody's house up there. So that is not a good thing to occur when you're out there in the woods and the wind's popping around. You hear them trees rattling, and you're just waiting on a dead man to come out of the trees up there. They did get back on trail. They were concerned about their mileage and getting to another shelter to be sheltered from the wind and just from the stuff falling out of the trees. But they made it to the 501 shelter, and they stayed there and hunkered down with a bunch of other people. They sent a quick video here, people that were trying to get out of a tornado warning that was in that area. So 501's completely enclosed, very large shelter, can hold a lot of people, but, and I think it would protect you anything short of a tree going through it or a direct hit by a tornado. Chuck Al, he says it's cooled down tremendously. He said the lows at night are in the 50s and the highs are in the 70s. He's in Connecticut right now. He says that Connecticut is a lot steeper than he expected, and he should be in Massachusetts on Sunday, which is actually today. Gadget Girl's doing well. She says that she's been hiking with Bunny Bam and Navajo Joe through Roxylvania, and thankfully the heat wave broke up there and the weather has been pleasant. So we're seeing a trend here. The further north you are, the cooler it is. They celebrated the dinner there at Port Clinton after that tough descent going into town and sent this Hiker Trash video.
Fun little rock climb. And it's still going. Yep. That's the rock scramble ahead of me. All right, we're having a Hiker Trash dinner after a long day on the trail here.
Oh, yeah.
No Rush and Chopsticks, they are north of Front Royal, and they say that the weather's gotten a little better, although they did have a hard rain yesterday, and they're heading to the Rouse Gap shelter as of yesterday. Drifter and Blue, they say the weather's become much more tolerable in the last few days. They are up around Great Barrington, Massachusetts now, and hope to be in Dalton by July 4th. They have seen a few Georgia northbounders, few Georgia Nobo Pure, but not really that many. And that their understanding is that the bubble is somewhere around Pennsylvania, so they are flip-flopping. Wolfman, he's made it to New Hampshire, so that's awesome. Nichols, he says the weather's been better. He got caught up on Bald Plate in a storm, which is, I believe that's in the Bigelows. He said the rain was coming sideways, not a good place to be. But he did say it's clear over all the 4,000 footers there in Maine, and he hopes to be making the Kennebec Ferry here in the next couple of days. Mad Hermit, he is north of the Lemon Squeezer and sends in this update.
Dino, Mad Hermit checking in with you. So at the end of the day today, we went through the Lemon Squeezer and up the vertical rock after it. There's still not too many hikers out here. I'm finding it easy to find camp spots and things like that. We had a big rainstorm last night, so maybe some of them are held up in hostels, but in general, the trail conditions have been good. The heat has dissipated today, and it was much more pleasant walking around. I think we'll probably actually get some sleep tonight. Thanks again for all you do. Talk to you soon.
Rooted, she is in the Shanties, and she sends in her update.
Hey, Ramdino and fellow AT Backpackers, it's rooted. Coming to you from day 4 or 5 in Shenandoah National Park. And the humidity has been as oppressive as anywhere else on the trail. Making the ups harder. Everybody says how short the ups are in this park now. They're legitimate ups, and especially in this heat. Anyway, I just wanted to check in and hope everybody's doing okay and staying hydrated. And the water sources are few and far between. A lot of the springs are dried up, but take advantage of the springs that are flowing. So cameling up and carrying more water than usual, but hanging in there. Can't wait to be done with Virginia. Yay. Okay, everybody take care. Lord bless you all. Thanks, Ramdino. Bye.
Beatnik, he is moving through New York, and he wants to caution everybody about the heat. So apparently when he sent in his update, it's been a few days ago, it was still very hot up there. He indicated that 3 folks had to be treated for heat exhaustion at the hotel that he was staying at, and he took 3 zeros himself to stay out of the heat. So stay hydrated and keep your electrolytes in you as well while you're up there. So we did have some completions from this past week. We had Talking Head. He started out as a sub-O in 2022 on June 7th, and he had to get off in Daleville, Virginia there due to hernia. He had to have surgery, then he had to rehab it. So he's got all that, and he got back on trail, and he went back out on April 28th, and he is finished. So, technically that's not a through hike, but to me, it's a through hike because he stayed on the trail, got hurt, had to have surgery, did his surgery, did his rehab, got right back on the trail and finished. So to me, that's a through hike. Now, the ATC may not consider that a through hike because it wasn't done in a calendar year, but you know how I feel about the ATC. So I'm good with it. How about the rest of you folks out there? Let me know. Either way, a lot of folks are purists. Some folks are pretty much hike your own hike. And we also had Gear Magnet and Landline, a father-son team. Very cool to see them finish. So didn't get a proper picture from them there on top of the sign. Had to get one off their YouTube channel. However, you can go to that YouTube channel and see their big finish there, and their link to that is in my support list, and the link to that is down below. But anyway, congratulations to Gear Magnet and Landline. If you know of anybody that's finished, even though we're not tracking them and they haven't been updating us, we still want to celebrate with them. And so if you could send me a picture and who it was, I'll be glad to include them in my update for completing the trail, as well as I'd like to know, and you folks out there that we do track and do update me, when you finish, I'd like to know what your NOBO number was that they gave to you there at Baxter State Park, so we can keep up with how many folks have summited so far. And then thanks for all the support that you folks that give me out there. So we had a super thanks that came in from Betsy Whalen. Thank you very much for that. We got folks that have joined as Patreon members. Thank you for that. All those things help this channel to be able to purchase gear, to be able to go out and do hikes and bring those hikes and stuff to you and just do this each week. So thanks a lot for y'all believing in my mission and for believing in the hiker community and what I do for my part of it. Of course, your subscriptions and your comments and your thumbs up, all those help out as well. And you sharing this channel really helps out, because the whole idea is we want to bring more people to the hiker community. There may be folks out there in that hike that are not part of the hiker community. So share this channel with them. Hopefully that will intrigue them and they'll want to be a part of the hiker community vis-a-vis through this channel then. And then also, folks out there that purchase merchandise through my merch shop, thank you so much for that. That helps out as well. And we've got some new stuff out there. We've got some new tees for the summer. We've also got some new moisture wicking t-shirts. And we also even got some coffee mugs out there. I know it's a little hot for coffee, but I still drink coffee in the morning. And when I'm on trail, sometimes and even at home, I'll get me some Sleepy Time tea bags and put me a little bit of Element drink mix in there with it, some of the chocolate good stuff, and drink that at night to put me to sleep. So think about that. Go in and take a look at that merchandise, and those links to that are down below. We do have some news out there for folks out there. So Terry, who's a subscriber, sends in a warning about Far Out, and that is that the mileage seems to be off on Far Out on certain sections. So Terry was out there doing a section and realized that what Far Out was telling him was not jiving with his companion book that apparently he was carrying along with him. So and it may be doing research at home as well. So keep that in mind. He's informed Far Out. They're aware of it. They're doing what they can to try to fix that. And that's not a big problem if you're doing a short section, 2 or 3 miles on and off. But what if you're doing a lash out there? That could be an issue as far as whether you decide and you can, because it's cumulative, right? So you add a couple sections together, before you know it, you got an additional 10 miles, and you thought you only had an additional 2 miles to get to the next trailhead or the next campsite or something. So another 8 miles at the end of the day when I'm wiped out would just kill me. So keep that in mind when you're out there. We did unfortunately have a few deaths from the hiker community on the trail that were service providers out there. So Charlie Galante, he was from the Itsy Bitsy Farm Shuttle up in Vermont. He passed away. And then Maria McBurdy, I believe was her name. She rented rooms to hikers in Salisbury, Connecticut for decades, and she passed away at the young age of 94. So very sorry to hear about that. Edward, her son, has been helping her over the last few years, and he is going to continue to rent out rooms to hikers there. So thanks a lot for doing that, Edward. Our hearts and prayers go out to both of those families out there for the loss of those folks that are part of the hiker community. And then the Rattle River Hostel that closed, I believe it closed last year permanently, is now been reopened as the Quantum Vortex by No Rush. So it is on Gut Hooks, just got on there, and so you can go and find that up there in Shelburne, New Hampshire. And then Spineless Cougar, who is our Trail Angel correspondent from the Vermont area, he sends us, where he does trail magic, he has a sheet a spreadsheet he asks people to fill out. It's all voluntary. They don't have to. Doesn't matter. He'll still do trail magic for them. But he collects data for us. And it's pretty decent data. It's pack weights and did you have Noro and when did you leave and what's your direction, what's your hike. And so he had an average weight this past week of 27 pounds was the average week. They had a high weight of 35 pounds and a low of 19. Nobody had Noro. We had a low NOBO number of 245, and that hiker left on February 17th. And the high NOBO number was 2,423, and they left what looks like about 2 months later on April 14th. So good information to kind of know where things are shaking out. Remarkable that you've got the number 245 has been caught up to by number 2,423. So that just shows you how varied the paces are of people that hike out there. And then Whispers, our northern correspondent, he indicated that up in the Whites, the crews that are in the huts have told him to tell hikers that the pastry and the hot soup that they give out there to hikers when they are available, of course, they feed the folks that has paid for it, but that is not something that you can expect to get at every single hut. Now, certainly if you're paying for it, there are people that, of course, do pay for it, hikers that do pay for it. And if you get your White Mountain, become a White Mountain member up there, you can get a discount on all that stuff. So, and you can even stay there and get a discount. But a lot of people go and do work for stay, and so can't expect to get those pastries until everybody in the hot soup, until everybody else has had it. And they may run out. However, they did say they are frequent, but they are not a constant offering. And then Sadie, Bright Eyes Hiker Dog is still missing. So we are still searching online for her right now. Bright Eyes is Canadian, and she cannot legally be here right now. So I believe she's going to be able to be back in July. And so she is coming down in July, is my understanding. She's actually already moved from where I think she lives in the western part of Canada, and she's already moved her car and stuff over to the eastern portion, and will probably be coming down here just as soon as she's allowed to get across that border. She did get clearance from the health ministry there to allow her health, insurance to continue. But it's going to be up to the border guards now whether they let her get in, based upon, and I don't understand everything there is to know about the immigration laws up there, but I do know the U.S. doesn't. The U.S. has immigration laws, and then Canada has immigration laws about them coming across into the U.S., and the longevities may vary between the two. But in any case, she's hoping that's going to happen, and she plans to come down here and continue the ground search. Right now, we're doing an online search, so anytime there is a Facebook page out there that the link is down below, and that's helping find Sadie. What people are doing is they're going to hiker videos and Instagram pages of hikers. They're going to Facebook pages and website pages of lost dog, found dogs, shelter dogs, all up and down the trail. Sadie may have very well started heading back north. We just don't know. There have been a lot of sightings of dogs that look extremely close to Sadie. The big kicker about Sadie is once she's a female dog and she's got a gray muzzle. There's a lot of gray muzzled part labs out there. She has white feet, or not white, completely white feet. She does have white on her feet, white on her chest, but she has a tumor on her back left hind leg on the lower section of it. So that's a dead giveaway if you see something like that. So a lot of people have been sending those in. Please continue to do so. None of them have been Sadie yet. Some of them have resulted in finding homes for those dogs. So that's really neat that something good is coming out of this. But otherwise, all I got to do is find Sadie once, and then we're golden. So please continue to keep sending those in. Wanted to say just a few more thoughts about Darrin. So Darrin was my best friend that I could ever have, and of course, next to my wife. But in my adolescence and even in adulthood, and like I said, we had gotten drifted apart, but here lately, and particularly since he'd gotten sick, we had gotten back together on numerous occasions and done some things together. And what his strength would allow him to do, we would get out, and even if it was go watch a baseball game or go watch just get out and drive around and do some things, go see some people, what have you, and just spend time together. I do not know. Part of that time I spent together, I gave him the word of salvation, and Darrin was private in where he was with that, and I don't know if he was saved or not, and that's troubling for me. Hopefully that when he was a child, that he did express to me that he had accepted Christ then when he was very, very young, one time at Bible school. But in adulthood, I'm not so sure. And I know that there's folks out there that believe once saved, always saved. And I believe that. However, there has to be a change there for that. And when you're a child, I'm not sure that, for lack of a better word, takes. But I pray that what I gave to him and what I spoke to him was enough to where he somehow had that literally come to Jesus moment and prayed that sinner's prayer there in private. He was very private. If he did it in private, the Lord hears it. So I just hope that that the Lord allows me to see him again when I leave this world and go over to the next realm and go to heaven. I'm going there. I hope that my buddy Darrin is up there. My brother Darrin is there. This world, and even that world, I think to some degree, but particularly down here, is less of a world than such a kind, good, talented soul is Darrin Griggs. And I'm going to miss him terribly, but I hope that we can have adventures together just like we once had up there. Folks, thanks again for all the good thoughts and prayers that you sent my way. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out there.